assumed she was safe and had a better life than living with such a poor mother and an alcoholic grandfather, and I decided to end my life. On the way back home, I bought the entire bottle of sleeping pills in a shop, and I went to my favorite lakeside and sat on a bench where my daughter and I usually eat ice cream. Then I drank all of it. After a few minutes, I fainted, and I suddenly found myself in complete darkness. I seemed to get out of my body and fly above it. I saw people who were walking around the lake who were afraid and trying to shake me up, and some people shouted loudly to others to call an ambulance. But now I was an empty body, and I realized I was more like energy or a spirit, and I didn't want to think about the body that was laying on the ground any longer. I just wanted to rescue myself from that painful life, and I felt so peaceful. Suddenly, I was so surprised that I passed through the mysterious depths of the black tunnel. I walked through the unknown depths of the black tunnel at a really quick speed, but a feeling of love and peace flooded over me. I had never seen anything like the brightness of the tunnel's light before. Its magnificence surpassed the physical world's constraints, instilling in me a sense of amazement and consolation. Though I don't entirely understand why, I found a weird solace in the bright glow that pervaded the tunnel. It felt as though the light itself held the answers to all of my soul's questions. I continued my journey through the end of the tunnel toward the bright. As I approached, the brilliance intensified, enveloping me in a warm and comforting embrace. I seemed to have had a meeting beyond words, human intellect, and language. I basked in that warmth, love, and generosity. It seemed like an embrace so complete and unconditional that I couldn't believe it. Though my vision was obscured, I had a strong feeling that it was God. Now, I found myself immersed in a timeless realm where only love and light reigned. I realized that the love and light I felt were not limited by the boundaries of human comprehension. This tremendous depth of love and the brilliance of this light cannot be adequately articulated in words. They must be sensed and experienced with the soul. In that extraordinary moment, I just wanted to shout loudly that it would be the greatest thing that I have had. Suddenly, all the doubts, fears, and insecurities that had plagued me in life melted away in the presence of God's unconditional love. In that boundless love, I found solace and healing, and I was completely covered by warmth and love, which was what I waited for a long time. In the presence of God, I sought solace in His divinity, hoping for answers to these unending questions. I confided my hardships to God, allowing my emotions to pour out, which were a mix of self-pity and frustration. I questioned why my husband betrayed me despite my relentless efforts to keep our family happy, or why my precious baby had to endure the unfortunate burden of a severe illness at such a tender age of 2. I lamented my birth and upbringing in an unhappy family with an alcoholic father and the tragic loss of my mother in an accident. I wondered why I seemed to bear the weight of life's most agonizing trials consistently. A powerful understanding flooded over me as I pondered my query. Without using words, I received the message that each human being is on a unique journey with individual paths and lessons to learn. The difficulties we face and the people we meet are not random occurrences, but rather opportunities for growth and self-discovery. I realized that in my marriage with my spouse, we were both on separate paths of personal growth and advancement. Our souls were destined to have different experiences and lessons, and our paths sometimes diverged to support those separate journeys. I suddenly realized that our difficulties and disagreements were not a reflection of personal shortcomings, but rather a part of the steps of our separate journeys. The miracle is that I immediately realized that happiness should not be dependent solely on external circumstances or other people. True happiness comes from within, and it reflects our inner state of being. It is our obligation to nurture happiness by cultivating self-love, self-acceptance, and a strong connection to our divine nature. In that life-changing epiphany, I realized that my dissatisfaction resulted from a disconnect between my exterior circumstances and my inner state of being. I had disregarded my personal well-being and placed the responsibility for my happiness on other things, such as my marriage or my father's relationship. After that, I felt a big love overwhelm me, and every moment of sorrow and happiness unfolded before me, painting a vivid picture of my journey, including sadness and all of its happiness, especially when my beautiful daughter appeared. I understood the mystical tie between a mother and her child with boundless love, a bond that transcends time and location. It was the enormous responsibility and privilege that come with sustaining a life, especially my lovely daughter's. Then I felt compelled to return to the physical world and fully embrace the position of devoted mother. I was suddenly led to another dimension that resembled the ancient Greek gate while I was receiving a lesson from God about love. I was here, so bustling and joyful, that I immersed myself in the most beautiful scenery that I have ever seen on earth. I saw a woman who looked like my mother in the haze. As I got closer, I realized that indeed it was her, the respectable mother who passed away 5 years ago in an accident. When she was alive, she always loved and surrounded me, and she frequently cooked me a very good beef steak that no restaurant could replicate. I miss her so much. I still keep the shirt she knitted for me when I was in 8th grade, even though with my current body, I can't wear it anymore. Unexpectedly, I met her again in this beautiful place, and the blurred, beautiful surroundings made me happier than ever. I wanted to get closer to my mom because of the verdant meadow there. A glimpse of a magnificent paradise appeared, shimmering with an otherworldly splendor, and I wanted to immerse myself in it. But without verbal communication, my mom pleaded with me to come back, to once again be grateful for life, and to dedicate myself to take care of my beloved daughter, who had been suffering from illness and affliction. Furthermore, she reminded me of the importance of filial piety, loving my father instead of leaving him alone. Yet, in the depths of my being, I also recognized the significance of my earthly journey. I understood that by stepping into that paradise, I would prematurely sever the thread of my earthly life. The realization struck me with a mixture of awe and trepidation. While the allure of the heavenly realm was undeniable, I knew that choosing to embark on that path would signify an end to the experiences, growth, and connections with my daughter and my father. With a sense of both reluctance and determination, I turned my gaze away from the heavenly realm. I embraced the understanding that my time on earth was a precious gift, filled with opportunities for growth, love, and transformation.